DJs need love too. Oh, they need love. Yeah, DJs need love too. Yeah, they need love too. Yeah, DJs need love too. Yeah, they need love. Yeah, DJs need love too. Yeah, they need love too. DJs need love too. Oh, they need love.
Another episode of the DJs Need Love 2 podcast. I go by the name DJ MONAE.
I'm DJ BATTIO.
And this is
Debonair DJ Pnut.
Yes, sir. We got DJ Pnut in the building. Real big DJ in Atlanta, man. When I first came out here, all you heard was DJ Pnut all over the radio, man. So it was very adamant that I get you on the show, big bro.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Sirski.
Yep. So, Pnut, I've known you for a minute. Where are you from? Where is DJ Pnut from?
Originally from Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
But I've been in Atlanta since 98. Came here to go to school at Morehouse and been kicking it here ever since.
Okay. How has Atlanta been treating you?
Atlanta's been a blessing. Atlanta's probably one of the best decisions that I made in life. Coming to Atlanta, coming to a city like Atlanta that has so much opportunity, so many black people doing well, and just, amazing city as far as entertainment goes.
Were you DJing out there in Michigan?
Yeah, actually, I started DJing when I was like 12 years old.
Okay.
Started doing radio when I was about 15, 16.
Wow.
And
shout out the radio station.
Yeah. WQHH, Power 96.5 in Lansing, Michigan.
Wow.
I did the Booming Power Mix with a guy by the name of Mark, the 1200 King.
Okay.
When I was in like 11th grade and was hooked ever since.
Okay, so you've been doing radio since you were about, when you said 12?
No, I started DJing when I was 12. I started doing radio when I was about 16.
16. So how has radio helped you so far in your DJing career?
Radio is just a monstrous platform to push your brand as a DJ.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that's really what you want to use it for.
So I want to bounce off more question because I hear you on the radio a lot. You know what I mean? They do have you in the clubs while you playing. So I think everybody want to know this question. Like, do you ever make a mistake and play like dirty versions while you doing them club mixes?
So it has happened before. It hasn't happened often.
Right.
Every once in a blue moon something happens. But you have kind of a safeguard in the radio settings, which is a delay. Most radio stations are on like a 30 to 45 second delay. Same thing with TV. So if something happens, you're communicating with whoever's on the board or the producer at the time, and they'll dump the audio. So
you got to remember if you play the curse record and then let the
well, as soon as it happens, what you hear on the radio is already on 30, 45 second delay. Right. So by the time you make a phone call or send a text message or whatever, hopefully they can go ahead and hit the dump button, and you'll never know if you're listening on radio.
Shit, I didn't know. I'm like, we DJs, you got to make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, I've done that like a couple weeks ago. I was like, but I got out of it. So Plex, let's talk radio and Plex. I want a Plex. Do you feel like Plex are important, or is it for show? Like, how do you feel about Plex? Do you have any Plex?
Yeah, I have a fair amount of Plex.
And how do you get Plex as a radio DJ? Because there's a lot of politics that come with it.
It's a lot of DJs that get upset because they feel like they get more.
Yeah, people get upset about Plex. I've never been in a situation where I really cared. I was ecstatic, and I was happy to be amongst the group of people who did receive them when they were issued. But to me, if Plex went out and I didn't get one, I didn't really care. I never really cared about it. To me, it's always been about the relationships. It means so much more to have a relationship with somebody in a certain situation, and when it's not really who you know, it's who answers the phone when you call. You know what I mean? So if I call you and I need something, or if I need to get some information or get a hold of somebody, and you answer the call, that means more to me than a piece of art for the wall.
So do you feel like it's more important to have a relationship with the artist or their manager?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both, because what you'll see is that in the entertainment business, the business always lasts longer than the talent. There's a handful of people who've lasted the test of time, like a Usher, a Beyonce, a Jay-Z, Jermaine Dupri, people like that. But there's so many other people who have auxiliary roles in the business, who've been in the business, who've been in multiple situations. Look at a guy like a Coach K, who's been an Atlanta icon, a hip-hop icon for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So staying on radio, and I had this question because I want to know this. Is it really hard to follow the radio rules nowadays?
What do you mean by radio rules?
Radio
like
rules.
set playlist.
Set
Not
playlist.
set playlist, but like we have a list.
Versus then versus now.
I think that the rules that you're dealing with are very specific to the type of program director or music director or assistant program director.
Okay.
And I think it's really reflective of the type of talent that you have on your roster. When you have a lot of new radio talent, they probably need a lot more guidance than some seasoned veterans
I got you.
who kind of understand like the format. They understand programming. They understand, the do's and don'ts. But you always have times where people will toe the line or they'll step over. But as a program director or leader or manager, that's your role to kind of step in and say, hey, let me pull you up and say, this is what it is or this is what it ain't.
And the big question to that is, you've been doing like the live club thing for years now, like years. How do you prepare for that?
I think the biggest preparation, number one, is knowing your music, and being seasoned when it comes to playing in the club. Like understanding that playing in the club is one monster in itself.
Yeah.
Playing in the club and being live on the radio is a completely different animal.
Right.
Because you're not only playing for the few hundred people or 1,000 people who are in the club, but you're also playing for the million people who are listening at any given moment.
So you are playing clean music.
Yeah, I'm playing clean music in the club.
You attract a lot of the tourists, right?
You attract a lot of the tourists. You attract, especially when it's like a big weekend, like if it's SEC championship weekend, if it's homecoming weekend, if it's a big concert after party, like Friday nights at Sweet Lounge. We're broadcasting, with Tori. Is a great owner, but we're blocks away from Phillips Arena or State Farm Arena, excuse me. And when there's a big concert like Lil Baby or Drake or whatever else, people got their radios on, they turned up when they're coming in going.
The power of radio is still efficient.
Yeah,
so one more radio question. You DJ for V103, one of the biggest in the city.
Shout out to V103.
The biggest in the city.
One of the biggest in the city. No, and what's so
I
crazy?
right here. Yeah.
I really fooled with Pnut because I think I met you back in 2018 at Sweet Lounge, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was I think it was Sweet Lounge. And I was like, man, like, he's fire. Like,
oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I remember you sending me an application to DJ on the radio there. I guess they ain't want me.
Really, like, in those situations, there's a lot of corporate red tape when you're dealing with, a station that's the size of V103. Yeah. Not only is V103, the biggest station in the city, but they're also part of a larger conglomerate, Odyssey. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things that go into play between, corporate red tape or, there might be a hiring freeze or, sometimes those things come into play. So,
but yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
You for the alley-oop.
You're welcome.
But also, how has V103 helped you? Because I know you DJ for the Falcons a lot.
Yeah, I do the Falcons pep rally. I've probably done the last 4 maybe 5 years. I think radio, like I said before, radio is just a vehicle for you as a DJ to magnify your talent, magnify your skill set, push your brand out there. But also, it's kind of like a central location for building relationships. There's so many people who've been producers and programmers or other DJs, radio talent, managers, publicists, PR reps, all of these people that come in, people who you interview, people, all those type of situations, and you build relationships with those people. And over time, as they say, your network is your net worth.
That's facts, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're coming in contact with these people. So it's really important that it doesn't matter who it is. Develop a relationship with these people.
Yeah.
Like I kind of had this habit.
Tip, yep.
Yeah, I had this habit when I go in the club. I kind of go on a little tour when I walk in. And I speak to all the door people. Yeah. I go in the office. I talk to the GMs or the managers. A lot of DJs say that, You know what I mean? I talk to the bartenders. I talk to the bus boys. I talk to the guys in the kitchen. Yeah. I take the guy working in the bathroom. I give him a drink. I holler at, dap up all the valet people. Because these are people that you might not have a lot of interaction with them. You might run into them, once or twice during the week or whatever. But you never know where these people are. Yeah. There are people who've worked as valets, who've gone on to be some of the biggest promoters.
Yeah.
I know security
in the
guards who went
country.
on tour with artists. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts. Especially in Atlanta, a lot of security guards that be outside.
Yeah.
So I have a question for a younger DJ that's on the radio. How do you feel when promoters will put, like, they'll make you a flyer, but they'll put by Streets or by V103? Do you feel like since y'all put that on there, we should get paid more? Just like how it was like, oh, this is such and such DJ, like for artists. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that
If they're using radio to promote you too, you feel like you should get extra since you're on the radio and every DJ can't be on the radio?
I say this.
That's a good question right there, bro.
I say
I need to know.
I say you get what you negotiate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't come to the table with your business intentions, you're gonna get what they give you.
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation where you feel like your brand is strong, you have these accolades next to your name, you're with this artist or you're at this station or you've done this, that, and the third. Like it's up to you to negotiate that deal.
And that's why we do this show, man, because it's a safe space to really just voice what you feel, and then be able to project it to whoever you're talking to, and that's how you get business out here.
Absolutely.
In my opinion. So we do have DJ Pnut in the building, man. When you come to Atlanta and you land and you turn on the radio and it's night, you go and hear this man screaming, like going crazy. You know what I mean? So I had to ask this question. This is it's gonna be like a really revealing question for a lot of DJs. Name one song that every DJ needs in A Serato. It don't matter if it's 70s up until right now, and tell me why they need that song.
One song that everybody needs.
It don't matter what genre, what.
I think one song that every black or urban DJ needs is probably Frankie Beverly, Before I Let Go.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's like a timeless classic that you can still play at any club in Atlanta. You can play it at a barbecue, a family function. You can play it at a sporting event. You can play it at a picnic. You can play it at a homecoming. Like that's a song that's just never gonna die. Yeah. So that's that's one to have. But I mean, there's a couple of them like that.
Yeah.
So before we get into our flower segment, can you give 3 clubs their flowers?
Ooh, 3 clubs. Oh, that's easy for me.
Okay.
First one, I have to say SO Nightclub, which was an Atlanta staple. Probably, there were 2 SOs, but the oldest SO, well, not the oldest, the second SO, which used to be on Memorial Drive, owned by Abe Watson. My guy Eric, he was the GM. Tawana was a manager over there. Shout out Miss Carter. Shout out Abe. Shout out Eric.
OG talk, right?
But that SO was like me. Who else? Me, DJ Cash. We used to do Saturday nights over there, and you're talking about 800 to 1,000 every week. Like it was just
that's tough.
Yeah,
now.
it was a monster.
That's
club.
tough now. There's so many clubs now. That's tough to do that.
SO is one, so I got to give. I definitely got to give them their flowers over there from SO. Sweet Lounge, Tori and God rest his soul, Terry. I mean, they've had an amazing run. Yeah. They're great.
Keep going.
Great owners. I mean, so many great stories of things that have happened in Sweet for me. I wasn't even on V103. I actually went over to Sweet Lounge from another club. I left one club, went over to Sweet Lounge because I wanted to get on V103. And Tori was very persistent and adamant in helping me pull that playoff over there. So I got to show love to Sweet Lounge. And you said 2 or 3?
One more.
3.
One more club for the career.
I'm gonna have to say there was a club that I played at when I was in college that gave me my first like major situation, and that was Club Envy on Spring Street in like 2002 and 2003. Big Ron was over there and Mark.
That's a good time in hip hop right there. That's when the music was.
They had All-Star Weekend in Atlanta in 2003. That's when like 50s in the club it came out.
Wow.
But like I was in college and I had basically like a promoter deal as like a sophomore or junior in college, and I was getting, I don't know, they might have been paying me like $500, $600 to DJ, and then I was making another like $1,200-$1,500 as a promoter. So like I was winning. Yeah. I was winning. And as a college kid, I was like, yo, this deal is crazy. Like
that's crazy.
The game is different now, man.
So if you had to bring one club back, which one would it be? Ooh. Rest in peace to all the clubs.
Rest in peace to all the clubs in Atlanta, man.
Yes, rest in peace.
They come and go, man. But which one?
One of the clubs that I loved in Atlanta, I never played there, but I used to be there all the time, was Central Station.
Central Station.
Central Station was like,
I remember
Central Station was so monumental in that era of that second wave of trap music. Like when Waka was coming out, when you had like guys like Young LA and Roscoe Dash and Future and Rocco. Like there were so many songs that would come out and you would hear them at Central Station. You wouldn't hear them in a lot of the clubs downtown, but they would make their way, like after they broke in those clubs, then they would make their way downtown and radio.
I'm thinking No Sections.
They had pool tables.
Okay.
Yep.
They had pool tables on the dance floor, and they had like $2 drinks in there, and it'd be...
Those are the best clubs, man. Like, I'm from up north. When we used to come down here, we used to want to experience clubs like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was, man. So let's get into this flowers segment. This is the DJs Need Love 2 show. One thing we will not stop doing is giving flowers, all right? So you've been DJing in the game for a long time, right? Yep. I need you to give 3 DJs their flowers, all right?
3 DJs. First DJ I'm going to have to say was my Uncle Mark. He went by the name of Mark Ski. He was from New York City. He is the one who actually introduced me
Shout out to Mark
DJing, like in the 80s when I was a kid. So he introduced me to the art of DJing, the craft. So I had to say him. There's a guy from my hometown named DJ Butcher who was like, he was like the guy.
DJ Butcher. Shout out to DJ Butcher.
He did all of the college parties, all the club parties. Like he was the guy in my hometown at the time.
Big flowers.
Yeah. And who's somebody in Atlanta that God rest his soul, DJ Cowboy.
DJ Cowboy.
DJ Cowboy was an Atlanta legend, and he was from Chicago. But I mean, he was an all around character and good guy. And Cowboy showed me a lot of love when I was trying to get my feet settled.
Wow.
In Atlanta,
so DJ Pnut, you do a lot of big events in the city. The R&B Soul Picnic. How does a DJ get the call for the R&B Soul Picnic?
R&B Soul Picnic. Like everything else, it's about the relationships. Like who are you tapped in with? Who do you know? One piece of advice I would give to younger DJs is that you should probably take the time to make a list of all of the clubs in Atlanta as well as all of the promoters. So you know who's doing what, who's where, you know what I mean? You know what nights are popping. You go, you introduce yourself, you make them take your information, you text them and ask them, do they have anything available? If you need me last minute, let me know. Like that was one thing that helped me. I stopped DJing for probably about 6 or 7 years when I came out of college and worked corporate, and then I got back into it. But when I got back in, I mean, I didn't have any gigs. So I was going to, different clubs in the city and introducing myself to the owners and the managers and the promoters and saying, hey, my name is Pnut. I'm a dope DJ. Let it come play for you sometime. Hey, take my number.
Dope.
You know what I mean? Send me a text. Let me lock your number in. And then I hit them from time to time, be like, yo, you need anything?
Yeah.
If you need something last minute, call me. It got to the point where cats were like, yo, we know who you are.
See, you said it again. It's a key thing you said. If you need something last minute, call me.
Yeah.
That has made me a lot of money in this business because being available, DJs have lives, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of stories from DJs just doing this show that they was there last minute and now they a resident DJ and then they happen to DJ for this artist just because they was available. Yeah. So just be available and just let the promoter owner know that, look, if you need something last minute, you can hit me up.
Like that's the segue. Like if you go into, I mean, it's just like basketball, like a basketball game. You could be the last on the depth chart. You get in the game and you light it up. They're gonna be checking for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
they're gonna be checking for you.
That's right.
So if you get a call last minute and it's this show or it's that club and you kill it, you're gonna get a call again.
So one music fest. I was stalking your Instagram. I seen you and Mixmaster David had your own dressing room.
Yeah,
that you're a writer.
Not necessarily. I mean, just different like sometimes it's just a byproduct of the size of the show or the scope of the event. So some of those larger stages, they're like that. I did a tour run with Gucci when he had first got out before, and it's all arenas and large venues. So those are some of the things that are there.
So when you outside touring, do DJs need their own dressing room?
Not really. I mean, in a lot of those situations, you're not changing your clothes anyway. It's just kind of a place to congregate before or after your set or your performance. Yeah. So I mean, I don't really go nowhere and change my clothes. I'm usually pretty dressed when I walk in.
All right, so let's get into this second segment. It's called Would You Rather.
Yeah, it's one of my.
I'm going to put 60 seconds on my phone. Batty is going to ask you a series of questions.
I'm scared.
You just pick the first one that comes to your head.
Okay.
And don't say no.
You ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
Let me know, Mo.
We can go.
Lovins or friends, or can we talk?
Lovers and friends.
CDJs, vinyls.
CDJs.
Blending or scratching.
Blending.
Hip hop and R&B.
Hip hop.
Afro or soca.
Afro.
Ammo piano or afro.
I'm a piano.
You want checks or you want cash?
Cash.
Tour or residency.
Residency.
Regular pool or title.
Regular pool.
4 decks or 2 decks.
2.
Nightclub or strip club.
Nightclub.
Record box or Serato.
Serato.
Go viral or work hard.
Work hard.
Host or no host.
No host.
Headphones, no headphones.
No headphones.
Wedding gig or artist release party.
Artist release party.
Event planner or promoter.
Promoter.
Okay.
Yeah, you did good on that one, man, my dude. Yeah, I ain't hear that one.
So I have a question because Battio's a little older than me. I'm younger to the city. How do you feel like DJing and like just dealing with promoters, club owners? How has it changed from when you first started to now? Because we see a lot of, we got to get paid more, and it's like a lot of battling right now in the city.
Is it battling between other DJs or is it battling between promoters and
everything?
owners?
Battles with DJs and DJs because it's so oversaturated.
Yeah.
Promoters are booking DJs for who's the cheapest versus, and most of the time it's about who you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a promoter you might not know, but you could be a big DJ, they might not want to pay your price because they have a younger person who would do it for cheaper. So how has that changed?
I think that naturally what's changed, over the last couple of years, well, not the last couple of years, but I'd say over the last at least couple of decades, is that you have an abundance of DJs now because of, technology. Yeah. At one point in time, when I started, cats were playing on records. So you had to be serious about your craft if you're going to spend, $100, $200 a week on records alone. And if you don't have a record, you just don't have it.
Yeah.
It ain't no downloading it. Ain't nobody letting you borrow their records. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't have it. So if you're not serious about it, there's no way for you to even break into the game. And then as, CDs came in, and MP3s, and then eventually laptops or flash drives, we've seen a tremendous amount of people get into the craft, whether those are celebrity DJs or, bedroom DJs, so now I want to play on the main stage. So there's a lot of options when it comes to promoters or owners. And I've kind of worked in both spaces. I've promoted as well as, been on the ownership side in some other situations. So, I mean, it's your brand. Like, you have to be responsible for building your brand. You have to be responsible for building the relationships where people want to come to you, and they have to see the value in it. Yeah. And, you have promoters or club owners that don't necessarily see the value in certain things. So you have to figure out how you leverage your brand equity and other things that you bring to the table against whatever else they're presenting or their counter argument is, and figure out where the sweet spot is for you to make the money. Like, it's always going to be people around who are going to take less money. It's always going to be, somebody who says that, hey, I'll DJ for $100 and a $50 bar tab. Like, that's never going to change. But if you're the person that comes and you bring 50 people with you, I'll tell you. So I brought up Esso earlier. At the time, who were one of the promoters? You had one of the guys. Fo Diddy was one of the promoters there. I can't remember all the. I can't remember all the other promoters. But I had this deal with them. I got my.
What do you mean a deal? Like, you worked something out before?
Yeah, I worked a deal. So
because a lot of DJs are not working out deals. They
no,
they just and waiting to get paid, right?
They're just trying to get paid.
And I think that's a problem, man. Like, what you're saying is you worked out a deal.
Yeah, I worked out a deal. So what I did was I said, hey, I want to hop in on the promotions. I'm going to get paid X, Y, and Z to DJ here, but I'm also going to let me get $2 off of every person that I bring. They're like, oh, yeah, cool. So everything was all good. And then they started looking at that number and they're like, hold on, he got 100, 200 people coming.
Yeah.
So now, in addition to whatever I'm getting paid, I'm getting, $300-$400 on top of that. And they're like, hold on, they're scratching their head. But I mean, I was
tips right here,
I was doing the work. Like I had an email blast, I had a text blast. I was calling people, I was booking birthday parties, telling people who were coming from out of town, like all of this kind of stuff. So now I'm leveraging, the situation in my favor. And I think that those are the things that you kind of need to do. Not only is that going to help you with these relationships that you're trying to establish in the club, but it's also going to help you with building your brand, because now you have people who are like, yo, where are you going to be at?
Yeah.
What you doing tonight? What's the move? And when you start bringing those people out, like, people are going to take notice.
One thing you want to see change right now in the DJ community?
One thing I want to see, I want people to stop fighting for acknowledgement.
Okay.
Like,
He's talking about the list, y'all.
The list, the plaques, all of the stuff. Like when they had the exhibit, the 50 years of hip hop exhibit with Dallas Austin and Jermaine Dupri. They did a big montage of a bunch of DJs, and there were some people that weren't on there. I at first saw, I didn't even know I was on there, but I saw it. I didn't even see my name, but I was applauding the guys that were on there. Like, I'm not motivated by that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, thank you. I appreciate it. No, it always feels good to be acknowledged. Yeah. But are you really being?
Don't look for it,
Are you really being acknowledged if you got to beg somebody for acknowledgement? Do they really go where you're exalted? Go where you're revered. And when you do that, like when you build your own base of people who follow you, or people who want to, party where you're at or follow whatever you have going on, that's where you're going to get the applause.
And just to piggyback on him with looking for acknowledgement, that's why I tell all DJs, charge your price. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to be friends with somebody that's doing business, you're not going to get the acknowledgement you need. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So go ahead and take care of your business and then be known for standing on your business. So don't look for too much acknowledgement. Take care of your family. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So, Pnut, why do DJs need love?
I think DJs need love because DJs provide the soundtrack to your experiences. Whether that's whatever you're listening to when you're growing up and you're in the car with your parents, whatever you were listening to at that period of time, what you listened to in high school, when you got home and you turned the radio on, or, when you were in college and you were on the yard and you was kicking it, who were the guys who were playing the music. Like, DJs provide the soundtrack to your life.
Yeah. That's the reason right there, man.
All right, so can you shout out your brand? Pretty Girls Party with Pnut.
Yeah. There it is. You just did it.
Yeah, Pretty Girls Party with Pnut. How did that come about?
Actually, that was a brainstorming session, me and my manager several years ago, Tawana Carter. We used to have like these weekly sessions, and we'd sit down and we plot out different things that we could do as far as my brand or, different moves that I wanted to make. And that was something that came up, and it was like, boom, we got something. And I've had that brand for a long period of time. One thing I will say is that with your brands, it is very, very, very important that you handle your business with your brands.
Yeah.
Take the time, get an attorney, get your trademarks and copyrights in. Right. You know what I mean? Protect your intellectual property.
I think a good manager would do that. So do you recommend DJs that's starting to make money to have a manager?
I think you got to have something to manage. I think that before you consider, like, number one, a manager is somebody who needs to be compensated for their work. If you don't have the means to compensate them, then what are they managing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they shouldn't be working for free.
Yeah.
But I think that you have so much access to information now that you have resources available to you. I don't care if it's a YouTube link, if it's a Google search, like, figure out what the process is to get certain things done and do as much of that yourself as you can before you start spending money on other things, because it doesn't make sense for you to pay a manager, then pay an attorney to file for your trademarks and a graphic designer or a photo shoot, like, to do all of these things when there's so much of this that you can do yourself.
100.
All right, so Pnut, let us know where we can find you at. Where you at in the city? What days? What days are you on the radio? What times?
DJ Pnut.
Well, first
I'm gonna say all his drops. Pretty Girls Party with Pnut.
You already know.
Debonair.
Yeah.
And it's a brand because, like I said, it's stuck in a lot of people's head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to hear these drops every time. If you drive into the club, if you're a DJ, you're on the way to the club, you're going to hear him. Listen. It's going to give you a little idea on how to start, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
I'm talking firsthand from, as far as, protecting your brand, because I've had a couple of different scenarios that came up with it when it came to my brand. And we've had, other DJs want to use my slogan and insert their names. But like I said, I did my due diligence, and, we've had to serve radio stations and
we're gonna talk about that in another episode. There's some legal DJ stuff. You know what I mean?
Like they liked your slogan, they liked what you were doing, and they wanted to run with it. But that's why I said on the front side of things, some of the stuff is, and I'll put another one out there that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, 2 Chainz came out with the Pretty Girls Like.
I was just about to ask him that. Yeah, the pretty girls love trap music.
I'll just say this: if you do your due diligence and you look at some of my early versions of my logos and whatnot, and then you look at that campaign, you'll see a lot of similarities.
DJs need love too. All right, DJ Pnut, let us know where you can find you at, big bro.
Hit me on the gram at DJ Pnut, DJ Pnut. You can also catch me at DJPnut.com. Keep up with all the stuff that I got cracking. Wednesday and Thursday, 5 o'clock, I'm live in the mix on V103. Friday and Saturday night, 10 to 1.
That's right.
Broadcasting live from Sweet Lounge and the Ice Bar. So, yeah.
All right. That was another episode of the DJs Need Love 2 podcast. Like I said, I go by the name DJ MONAE.
I'm DJ BATTIO.
And that is
DJ Pnut.
And this episode is sponsored by the DJs Need Love 2 show. We got DJ Pnut in the building. Let's do a DJ tip for the DJs, right? Mm-hmm. Having insurance is very important. Absolutely. Very, very important. What DJ insurance do you recommend for DJs?
I know that for some contracts you need to have specific DJ coverages for your event space or for your actual DJ service. A lot of corporate clients request that. But in addition to that, you got to have the proper type of insurance to insure, your laptop, your vehicle, that kind of stuff. And you need to make sure you have some health insurance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I know a lot of guys and girls are contractors, and they don't have traditional health insurance through, HMO or PPO plan. But you got to get some insurance.
It's a great point too, because
if something happens to you, you down and out. You want to make sure that you can go to the doctor and get yourself taken care of.
That's a great point now because it's November, it's open enrollment right now for DJs if you need to get health insurance, because I know a lot of DJs, if you're a full-time DJ, that's probably one thing that you skip. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Obama.
Yeah. And for the DJ insurance, most time it's $1 million they will ask you for. It's probably about $27.
And then they'll ask for some forms of liability coverage. A lot of times it's $500,000. But those type of coverages, all rolled together would be less than $60-$70 a month.
Yeah, I've seen some for $30 a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're on the corporate scale, it's very important, right?
Absolutely.
DJs need love too.